Then, handing them his royal signet, he said,
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another video. We're restarting $1 a day raid club, so we're going to be spending $1 a day on Raid Shadow Legends, see how far we can get. Now, any new player to this game is met with this screen here, where you have to choose your first champion. Which champion is worth picking? We're just going to really quickly run through them. Elhain is a high elf. All the champions are actually quite simple, they're all quite straightforward, they're all quite similar. Elhain has essentially a double hit A1, so the way the game works is a critical strike starts off at 15% chance crit rate. Of course you can boost this up with gear and stats as you progress through the game, so you can get 100% crit rate on us, you can get a double hit A1. Being able to hit multiple times with your basic attack, which is always available, can be quite handy. Her second attack is an AoE. It's got an extra 15% chance of placing a crit, and it also puts a 30% increased crit rate on her if she kills somebody. So not amazing. It's a bit of a weird way this works, because if you kill someone you get 30% increased crit rate. That would indicate that you don't want to build your crit rate at 100 to get the benefit of this move, but you already start with a 15% increased crit chance. So you can use it to nuke an arena with this, but it doesn't really synergize overly well with this first one here. Then she does an AoE double hit, and there's not many double hit AoEs in the game, so this is a good skill. Again, both this one and this one will hit. This one attacks one enemy first and then hits everybody, so it's double hit on one target and then hits everyone. I've started with Elhain in the past. All the allies have got the same, all the starter champs have got the same 15% HP aura, and they've all got kind of similar-ish like base stats. You don't need to worry about these too much because they will be built upon as your character levels. Kael, I think, is always the best starter for this game, and the reason is because his kit comes with poison. Poison is great for damaging bosses because it does a tick. And the higher the poison, essentially the higher health the enemy you put the poison debuff on, the more damage it does. So clan boss, for dragon, for any of the main bosses, it is a really nice debuff. He's got an 80% chance of placing the small poison for 2 turns. You can buck it up to 100%, so he does always put poison on his A1, kind of useful. AoE, again, it's a A2 AoE, so he attacks everybody. It's got that increased built-in 15% crit chance, like all of the starter champs do. Fills his turn meter by 25% for enemy killed. That's really nice for arena or for campaign farming, because as he kills people, he fills up his own turn meter, which can be pretty cool. No poison on this one. And then his A3. It hits 4 times at random, so actually really useful for one of the dungeon bosses, the Fire and Ice. You need multiple hits for that, so that is kind of nice. 40% booking up to 50% as you add skill books to this dude. For the big version, 5% poison, so 50-50 poison, which is nice, you know, so you can get quite a lot of poison out with him. Now, as this game has developed over the last, I guess, 5 years now maybe, there are many better poisoners than Kael, but he is still the only one that does offer poison in his kit. Again, same aura, and he is a Dark Elf. Galek, I've also started. He was my first ever starter champion. I'd say he's one of the weaker ones. He does have a double hit at A1, so that's kind of nice for us. He does have an AoE on his A2 like all of them. Again, the 15% extra critical hit chance, which is nice. 30% increased speed buff on himself, which is kind of nice. It would be nice if it did everybody. Speed is one of the most important stats in the game, so to get an increased speed on your starter champion is pretty cool. And again, he's got this 4 hit at random, so again, very useful for Fire and Ice, and he does decreased defense. This is the small version, so once you put decreased defense down, you do extra damage to targets. He does have the bigger version if there's already 2 debuffs out, so you need somebody else to put some debuffs up, then you can do the big version of decreased defense, and you can do a lot more damage with that. Only 40% chance, but you know, still, it's actually, he's an okay champion. And then last we've got Athel. She is from the Sacred Order. and she has got a triple hit A1, which is very useful for Fire Knight. An A1 with 3 hits is really good, quite rare, hard to get. She will also place a weaken, 25% weaken. You can book it up to 100% chance. So that's a really nice move. Weaken again just allows you to do extra damage. If you want to know what any of these things do, you can click on them and they will give you the extra info on your mobile device. You should just be able to press them. Exactly the same A2 as the others. Hits everybody, 15% chance of more critical hit. Doesn't do anything past that. Again, just a kind of nuke ability. And then we have a move that will put increased attack on herself, increased defense on herself for 2 turns if her HP is less than 50%, and then grants an extra turn, so she can kind of self buff up and then come in with one of these 2 moves here. Now, I think the number 1 champion you want to go for is Kael. I still think that now, just because this move here, the poison, you don't really know what you're going to get out of your first 20 or 30 shards that you open in this game. Fingers crossed you get success and you get a better poisoner than Kael, but I tend to take the view in life that you should always hope for the best but plan for the worst, and I think Kael is probably the best starter. If you're happy to take the risk on the poison, I'd go Athel, because I like the triple hit A1 and I like the weaken. This is not the easiest debuff to pick up. There is a free character you can get in the campaign that does AoE decreased defense, so a weaken to pair with that means you can pump out a lot more damage. She does self buff, which is nice. She gives herself an extra turn and she can nuke, so I'd say she's probably second. Galek and Elhain I think are about equal. Elhain I think is probably a better champ for hitting hard. I think she's got more raw hitting power than Galek, but Galek does have the potential for the decreased defense, but it's a low chance. You're going to want to replace him for that role. An increased speed on himself isn't particularly that helpful, so I'd say Galek probably 4 and then Elhain 3. Now ultimately, it doesn't make a massive difference which one you choose. You can pick any of them. Your account will be absolutely fine. It'll just maybe take you a bit of time. Kael, I would say, is somebody who could still 60 in late 2023, moving into early 2024. The other 3, I would be reluctant to. Maybe Athel, I would 60, but I'm not sure I would Elhain. It depends. It depends what champions you get for each faction, but you certainly could do. But Kael, I think, is the best. So that's why we're going to pick him. That's why you should be starting Kael in 2023 and 2024. I'll be back with some more videos soon. Take it easy, guys. Peace.